Um, but we're going to talk about Jerome Ennis. We're going to talk about Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez, and we're also going to talk about KeshawnbDaivs's performances over the weekend. KeshawnbDaivs, and we'll also talk about Abdullah Mason and his performance as well over the weekend. Let's start off with Friday top rank card: KeshawnbDaivs versus Gustavo Lemos. Gustavo Lemos started out aggressive like he normally does, and Keyshawn caught him. Man, he started catching him early and made quick work of him once he heard him in the second round. So kudos to KeshawnbDaivs, showing that he's razor sharp. RJ Jenkins in the building. What's up, RJ Jenkins? Showing that he's sharp as ever. Smash the like button, people, when you come through if you can. That would be nice. Showing once again that he's a very sharp boxer, and he reminded me of a right-handed version of Terrence Crawford. The kind of combinations he was throwing, the uppercuts and the looping shots, the way how he was throwing his shots as well. It reminded me a lot of Terrence Crawford for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why. But what I can also say about Keyshawn is Keyshawn's a guy, as I'm beginning to realize, as his competition gets even stiffer, that if he gets you hurt, he's going to get you out of there, And he's been placing his punches very, very well. His defense is well. He's staying behind his jab. It's just all around really just a classical, boxer puncher. Just demonstrating why he's in a class above everybody else. Richardson Hitchens couldn't do that to Gustavo Lemos, and Keyshawn did. Now, having said that, we've got a little caveat in there we have to mention, and a lot of people are, I've heard people addressing this, but the caveat is that Gustavo Lemos couldn't make 135. He just couldn't. Gustavo Lemos moved up from 135 to 140, I believe, 2 years ago. And his last fight was at 140, right? So he had left 135 a while ago. So it was impossible for him to make 135. So the caveat in this is that Gustavo Lemos, he ended up making 141. He didn't bother to get down to 135. But I think it still put pressure on his body to drain himself to try and get down. And he definitely couldn't do it. So that's a little caveat in there. But to be honest with you, I think he'd have got tagged anyway. Probably last longer. But he probably got it. Keyshawn would have still probably got him out of there. So here's what it is. Keyshawn shows that he's in a different class to everybody else. RJ Jenkins says he's trained by Bud's trainers. That's why Keyshawn's style is similar. I don't know if he has a similar style to Bud now. Now, I'm not saying all of that. I'm not saying he has his own style. I'm just saying that the kinds of combinations that he'd been throwing reminded me of what Bud was doing, But he has his own style, obviously. He's not a southpaw either. But he did remind me of Bud, as you said, and I know he has the same trainer and everything. But I'm just saying that, he has more dimension to him than Shakur Stevenson, for example. Shakur Stevenson has a different style to KeshawnbDaivs. He has a different style. And Keyshawn doesn't look anything like Shakur. But he does remind me a bit of Bud. The kinds of punches and the kinds of shots that he throws. And the way how he throws the shots reminds me of Bud. But he has a different style to Bud. I already realized that. The other thing that's interesting about KeshawnbDaivs is, sold 10,000 tickets for that fight. Nobody, I don't think, I don't know, as he said, I don't recall anybody at this stage in the game in boxing selling those kinds of tickets. So Keyshawn is a budding star, no doubt about that. Now, with respect to his future, people are saying he could take on Tank Davis. I'll be honest with you, I could see that. And some of y'all would say it was too early. Tank has a lot of experience. Yeah, but here's the problem, right? And I'm not saying, again, Tank is an unbelievable, skilled fighter. So is This kid, what's his name? Carmel Morton. Morton is another unbelievable fighter. You know, Morton and Gervonta Tank Davis, their quick twitch motion, the way how they close the distance, the way how they figure out the spaces to be able to attack a guy and open up their defense, the way how they fight tactically is brilliant. Okay. But both Carmel Morton and also Tank Davis, they have certain physical, I would say, disadvantages when facing a fighter that knows the way how they fight. So, for example, Tank versus, say, a Devin Haney who has length, you know, and uses a jab, it's going to be difficult for Tank to navigate that. As much as he has great timing. Now, timing is everything, right? To offset and neutralize length. But, you know, I'm just saying, though, that I know Tank gets undershots. He goes from low to high. He goes under and explodes upwards. And I understand what Tank would try to do against a fighter like a Devin or Shakur or a Keshawn. But, I mean, the fundamentals boxing always stand. And Keshawn brings a lot of things to the table that even Shakur doesn't bring. Shakur is very sharp, but I don't really see Shakur. First of all, Shakur don't fight like how Keshawn. The reason Keshawn got the power he has is how he throws his shots. The whipping action, like Terrence does. And he's rubbery. He's plastic with his movement. So he's able to make adjustments mid-shot. You know, he's able to adjust his body mid-shot. And that plasticity that Keshawn shows separates him from, say, for example, Shakur Stevenson or even Devin Haney. Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson, they're not big hitters because they don't whip their shots. Like how Keshawn whips his shots and gets all the power through it, you know. And that's something that both Shakur and Devin and Shakur, they try to shoot shots like how, well, them and also somebody else I saw doing the same thing. They try to shoot shots like how Canelo shoots shots. Canelo don't get all the power in the shots that he's supposed to get because he don't whip his shots. Whereas if you look at Keshawn or even Terrence, they turn it over and they whip their shots, you know. Canelo he snap his shots. His shots are snappy, you know. And same thing with Shakur and Devin. They try to go for speed more than and technique more than just, you know, trying to get that leverage in the shot properly. So anyway, yeah, Keshawn versus Tank. We could have that now, but that wouldn't happen. But it would be something to watch. Keshawn at this point in his development against a Tank Davis, who's a strategic defensive fighter. That would be a very interesting fight. I'm not going to lie to you. So if people start calling for it, that's good. I mean, he doesn't even mention Tank's name. He doesn't call him Tank, at least. He calls him the light-skinned guy. Yeah, Keshawn's he's doing very, very well. Of course, as RJ Jenkins said, that won't happen anytime soon. What you got, Keshawn has to first of all face and become a world champion, I think. Unfortunately for him, before that opportunity may present itself. This is depending on if Keshawn stays at 135. He's talking about going up to welterweight, skipping 140 and going up to welterweight. So there's a lot of factors you have to think about when you're talking about boxing. You have to think, is your body outgrowing the division? Clearly, Levo's body outgrew the division. He should have been fighting at 140. He had no business fighting Keyshawn Davis at 140 at 135. He had no business doing that, but he did. So that's on him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So don't forget to smash the like button, people who are enjoying that. That was Keyshawn Roach. Then we had Abdullah Mason. Yeah, that fight got interesting when he got put down twice. That was an interesting fight. Um, I'll say this, and you know what's weird? They just interviewed Abdullah Mason, I think, a couple of days before that, and he was saying how he's willing to take on uh, Kid Austin. He'd like to get that Kid Austin fight, and just like how Kid Austin was calling out Shakur Stevenson, and he ended up getting knocked down once and hurt, and Abdullah Mason wasn't focused enough on what he was being presented with. He looked ahead, started talking about other people. Ooh, and boy, did that boy got knocked down twice. He got dropped twice. So, exciting fighters though. Exciting fighters. I always try to explain to people that, in boxing, if you're a boxer, don't look past your opponent. Don't entertain nobody suggesting somebody else. Your focus is the guy in front of you. Don't be paying attention to nothing else. Stay focused on the guy in front of you. And a lot of these guys don't do that. So they get what they get. Abdullah Mason was tested, but he showed his courage. He showed his courage, no doubt about that. But I'm saying, man, we shouldn't be talking about no Kid Austin and no potential fights past your fight. Once you get a fight, once your fight is in the books, your focus is on the guy in front of you have to face. You can't be looking ahead trying to, I'm saying, man, I'm just saying, because you underestimate your opponent any way, shape, or form. Start looking past them, talking about future fights. You looking for a ass whooping, right? Remember Tim Tszyu? Great fighter. Tim Tszyu looked past his opponent. He looked past him and talking about Charlo and his opponent's a step aside opponent and all that shit. And he got his ass beat. So don't do that. Don't be looking past your opponent. The great Manny Pacquiao looked past Juan Marquez. And what happened? He got knocked out cold. Don't look past your opponent. You never know who. And it doesn't matter what level of opponent it is, Yeah, Tim Tszyu with Fundora. There you go. Tim Tszyu with Fundora. But Fundora was last minute, though. It was last minute. That was a last minute change up. So, he didn't expect to get a bloody face in that fight. But that's boxing. You have to cater. You really do have to anticipate. And that's why I always think that boxing is knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It's about knowledge. It's not, because if you know how to do something, you won't get caught up in, like even what fight it was I was watching. Yeah. Gustavo Leivas versus KeshawnbDaivs. Gustavo Leivas, he falls down. Instead of taking a knee, resting himself, getting his composure and getting back up, what did he do? He popped back up like a lollipop, right? So he ended up falling right back down like Timothy Bradley did against Provodnikov, right? Fell right back down. Why? Because your equilibrium's off, right? You take a knee, you listen to the count. When it gets to 8, you pop back up. You don't pop back up before that. And that's what's wrong with these guys, So it is what it is. And you could tell the lack of experience, the lack of knowledge, When you've been trained properly in boxing, you use all the veteran tricks in the book. You look at Robson Conceição versus what's his name? Why am I not remembering his name? O'Shaquie Foster, right? In the rematch. O'Shaquie hurt Robson Conceição. But what did Robson Conceição do? He closed the distance, started locking that guy up. He started locking him up. I mean, really locking him up. And how you lock up a guy is also something you need to learn. You know what I'm saying? RJ Jenkins happened to Zav Judah. Yeah, against Costa Tszyu. That's true. He just popped up too quickly. And so these are, again, this is knowledge. Boxing's all about knowledge. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. This is knowledge. You don't have that knowledge and you ignorantly pop back up. Well, you actually putting yourself in a much more perilous position and a much more dangerous position because you're still spinning. You need to gather your composure. And boxing's all about composure. You got to gather your composure. Right? And if you just got knocked down and you just pop back up. Remember, you first of all, you got trauma to the brain, right? And then on top of that, now, so you have to recoup that somehow. And on top of that, if anybody just popped up, if you just jump out of your bed, you just woke up and you just jump out of your bed, what happens? You start to spin, right? And you know why you start to spin? Because your body, your blood pressure changed from the blood pressure that you had lying down, and you just elevated your blood pressure so quickly. So your whole brain is lacking blood. And because of that, you start to spin. So let's say the guy hit you with a shot you didn't see. You went down, right? But you feel okay. So you pop back up. You not only have to deal with the trauma of getting hit in the head, you now have to deal with the fact that you just changed your blood pressure so that you now start the whole room, everything's spinning. So your equilibrium's completely off. How can you fight with your equilibrium off? You have to be in balance to fight. So you've done already lost the fight. If the guy catches you with a couple more shots, you lost that fight, right? So you get hurt, you take your time. Look at Floyd. When Floyd even if he gets tackled by Marcus McDonough and tackle him down to the ground, he takes his time to get up. Always gather your composure. Not going to just leap. You're not just going to leap back up. No. I look at Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. He got knocked down. He leaped right back up. It showed inexperience. It showed a lack of knowledge. And that's very important in boxing. That's why knowledge is everything. You know what to do in this situation. You know what to do in this situation. You know what to do in this situation. And you could tell the inexperienced people deal with a new situation, and you could tell the people who've been through those situations. Remember when Floyd got cut by Marcus McDonough? His corner was calm as could be. And the cut man that had to deal with this situation handled it. And he never bled again throughout the fight. Whereas, when Tim Tszyu was cut, and it wasn't in a dangerous place, but his whole entire corner did not know how to handle that situation. They didn't know. Knowledge. You got to have people or some member of your team that has experience in different areas that can coach you through the situation. Knowledge is everything in boxing. It's not how hard you can punch. You might be able to punch a hole through a steel car, for crying out loud. You might be able to punch a hole through steel. That don't mean that you could take a punch like that, first of all. And second of all, if you get in some situation, we seen it time and time again with punchers. Time and time again with punchers, right? Not every situation is for you to get back immediately. And a lot of fighters, once they get hurt, their thing is to fight their way out of it. But sometimes it's keep your composure, stay behind your defense. Watch to see what hit you. What happened there? How did you get hit? So you can go back to your corner and say, okay, if you don't know the mistake you made to get hit like that, you ask your corner with an extra pair of eyes, what that guy hit me with. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't know, you can't act properly to deal with the situation. Boxing that's why some people say the more intelligent fighter wins the fight. It's the guy with the most knowledge and knows how to use that knowledge in the ring. Under any circumstance, under any situation. Expect the unexpected in boxing. It's a dangerous sport like that. And I think a lot of boxers don't. Anyway, let's get on to the other people. So the next fight was again Jesse Rodriguez, Bam Bam, versus his opponent. It's a good little fight. RJ Jenkins says timing is one of the most important components in boxing. Bro, I wish you could just say, could you say that again? Could you tell the people, please? Timing is everything in boxing. Speed and power is cool, but if you don't have that timing to find those gaps, to find, not just to find the gaps. See, you can find the gaps and still get blasted first, right? You got to stay out of the way. Make sure you don't got no holes. And then when you find the gaps in your opponent's defense, you got to have the timing to be able to thread that needle to get into those gaps without your opponent threading the needle to get you. And in a way, it's a kind of cheat because if you know how to do, body checking and positioning your opponent, you can position your opponent so they can't hit you. You could hit them, and then you can also create the situation where they react to something you have done, called baiting them in, and then you do what you do. You hit them. You know what I'm saying? But I would say this, that what RJ Jenkins said there is gospel. Okay? Timing and placement, let me say it again. Timing and placement, both defensively and offensively, are the most important things in boxing. You could be slow as a slug in that ring, and the other guy is like the road runner. He's Speedy Gonzalez. If you got timing and you got placement, you could beat that guy. If he don't know how to use timing and placement himself. Okay? Because, one, if you know how to cut off the ring, he gonna have to fight you. And two, if you know how to place your shots, body shots, you can slow him down. And if you got good timing, you can catch him with shots in between his shots he's throwing at you. Or maybe even knock him out, depending on how much power you got. So timing always beats speed and power without timing. And placement always beats speed and power without timing and placement. That's boxing right there. It's mathematical. That's boxing. So, the people out there who be, harping on power and speed all the time, I listen to them, but they obviously don't know, that boxing is based on knowledge. So when Bivol, RJ Jenkins, I know RJ Jenkins know Bivol beat Beterbiev, but Bivol don't care. Bivol said straight up and down, Bivol said, I lost. And he didn't want to hear none of that talk. Oh, everybody's saying you won. He don't care. He said, I lost. The judge's decision was final. Y'all can go into hypotheticals if you want. I lost. That's what Bivol said. He said he'd be grateful for another chance at becoming undisputed. I mean, he a realist, okay? He know what happened, and that's that. But for those of us who know boxing, we know Bivol won that fight. We believe Bivol won that fight based off of clean, effective punching, the fact that he was the guy with the defense. Well, both of them had defense, but I mean, he was the one with the more effective defense. The game plan and how the fight was going was the way how Bivol wanted it to go. Now, Bivol said he could have done much more things to make it much more clear. He also believed that he was trying to load up on every shot instead of just let it flow and just point the guy. So, because he said he was trying to knock out Beterbiev. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, Bivol versus Beterbiev was a different fight that we saw than a fight right after that. Which fight was that? I'm trying to remember the fight right now. Where the guy got knocked out by a slower guy, but with more power. It was an upset. It was a big upset that happened. I forgot what it is. Some reason I just forgot the fight. It was in my head and it just disappeared. Can't remember exactly what it is right now. But it was a big upset. Oh, yes. Tim Tszyu versus y'all help me out here. I forgot what the guy's name is. Anyway, the Russian kid. The Chechenian, right? Kostya Tszyu got blasted out of there because did not keep his defense tight. He started off good. He started off great. But after he got hit and hurt, everything went out the window, and he was mostly trying to beat down the guy. He was trying to get back. And, that's the nature of the sport of boxing. His defense was open. He had a lot of holes, and that dude left hooked his ass into the next century. Okay. All right. Anyway, so that was Abdullah Mason. We covered KeshawnbDaivs, Abdullah Mason. Let's talk about the DAZN card. Jesse Rodriguez versus help me out here. I can't remember the guy's name. Anyway, Jesse Rodriguez versus his opponent, and Jerome Boots Eniss versus Karen Chuchacharian, or whatever his name is. I'm butchering the guy's name. Sorry about that, brother. Now, again, with the Jerome Eniss, you saw him have difficulty against his opponent because that style gives Jerome Eniss a lot of problems. And Chuchacharian was, Karen, let's just use Karen. Karen, even though I don't think of a man's name as Karen, whatever. He was landing still. He was still landing. So Boots has a sort of flaw in his style. And I guess everybody agrees with this. I'm just going to join in with all the other people. I don't think he can fuck with Boots, with Terrence. I don't think he can fuck with Terrence. I would have loved to see the fight. I still love to see the fight. But he can't fuck with Terrence. He can't. I think a lot of people are in agreement with this now. And I think it's unanimously understood that Terrence is a different tier of fighter, and Boots is still learning, and he got some problems. He got to sort out. You know what I'm saying? He still got he got a ways to go. Terrence is there already. With respect to Rodriguez. Yeah, RJ Jenkins said Boots get hit too much. Yeah, imagine Terrence hit, and remember Terrence is southpaw too. Imagine Terrence could go orthodox as well. Imagine Terrence hitting him with them shots. He not gonna make it. Terrence really need a challenge, and I guess Terrence versus Canelo is really the fight we want to see. Terrence is getting old too, so he had to get out the game pretty soon. But yeah, Terrence is in a different category. I don't think that Boots can mess with Terrence right now, and I don't see that fight happening. Yeah. With respect to Jesse, Bam Bam doing his thing as usual. He did his thing, Kudos to Bam Bam on that. I ain't really got much to say about that fight. It was a good fight, and Bam Bam did his thing, So that's what I got for you guys. I'm what you need. You guys have been watching this channel. Don't forget, it's sponsored by LIVE products. I'm going to show you one or two of them. We got cleaning products. We got dishwashing liquid. We got fabric softener. Okay. So that's the LIVE products, the LIVE line. If you guys want to donate to this channel, don't forget you can donate to this channel via PayPal. I basically said all I got to say. I'm going to get out of here now. You guys have a good one. Blessings to you guys. All praise be to the Most High God. The Most High God always comes first. Free Palestine and all of that. And, U.S. elections, Donald Trump came back to power. People said no to genocide. They're like, nah, we ain't going to elect that lady. They conducting a genocide in Palestine. On top of that, you want to be elected again? And you telling us, no, you're not going to stop that genocide. You're not going to stop arming Israel? Nah, man, come on, man. Y'all tripping. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. Donald Trump, well, we got 4 more years to Donald Trump, and more people voted for Donald Trump this year. And you can't say those people are decrepit garbage because most of them is normal people like you and I. Okay? So y'all get over your feelings, and we got Donald Trump for the next couple of years. All right? That's what I got for you guys. Oh, by the way, if y'all didn't like Donald Trump, y'all could have elected a third party. There was Jill Stein and the Green Party. There was Claudia de la Cruz and the Socialist Party. There was Chase Oliver and the Libertarian Party. And there was Cornel West as an independent. Y'all didn't do that. So You know, if y'all didn't do that, that's on you. And I really have no serious bad feelings about Donald Trump in the sense of this. Yes, I know he's a domestic terrorist, and I know what happened and all that. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump, and he's been convicted of certain crimes or whatever. I got it. Well, at the end of the day, y'all need to understand something. That man has never conducted an industrial level genocide. In fact, under that dude, we've had no new wars in the world. He talk crazy, but at the end of the day, policy-wise, he has put out some pretty decent policies as well. So everybody's trying to say, oh, Donald Trump, he's a boogeyman, blah, blah, blah. But come on now. He ain't that bad. He's definitely not, he hasn't done things as bad as Mr. Joe Biden and Mrs. Kamala Harris have done in the United States of America. And mind you, in terms of immigration policy, Joe Biden has extradited more Americans out of the United States of America. Well, not Americans, but people, illegals, whatever. Back to Mexico. Some Muslims back to just kick them out the country. He done more of that than Donald Trump. He tripled down on adverse conditions between America and China. Okay? He waged new wars. The Ukrainian war, they've been back in that crazy shit against Russia. And the other thing, what you call that thing? What's happening in Palestine right now? Okay? Look at if he could get his way, he'd have war with Iran. Man, this motherfucker is crazy, man. Crazy. And they still in power right now. And the genocide is still happening. Okay? And I'm not saying that Donald Trump is not for Israel and them finishing the job. I'm not saying that. His rhetoric said that, but and he is paid by the Israeli lobbyists, so you know it is what it is. But I'm just saying though that RJ Jenkins, Kamala has put brothers in jail. She's missed. They call her the top cop, right? This woman takes AIPAC money. She had like $5 million in AIPAC money. She got. Okay. She don't listen. I don't know. They say she black. She's not really black. She's Asian, but that's another story. Point is, she don't care about black people. She don't care about poor white people. She don't care about the middle class. She would have been worse than Joe Biden. At least Joe Biden, used to pander to trade unions and stuff like that. But she don't care. Like, she don't care about Americans, period. You know what I'm saying? And you know why? I'm going to tell y'all the truth. Y'all ain't want to hear the truth. I'm going to tell y'all. And then I'm going to just step off and go my way. Okay? The truth is, America has always been corporate. Wars that happen abroad are not for the American citizens to benefit. That big Iraq war we had, that huge war in Iraq, right? Oil prices should have plummeted after that war. America should have been able to get their gasoline and oil cheap. It never happened. Whose pockets got filled by that war? Halliburton, Chevron, Shell. The big corporations profited off of that war. Okay? You look at who profits off of war, and you will realize that it's Wall Street profits off of war because of the military industrial complex that has their businesses in Wall Street. And most of these people who profit off of war are private contractors. They're not even part of the U.S. military, the National Guard or anything. They work with them, but it's the weapon manufacturers. It's the defense contractors. They're the guys that profit off of this war. They're happy. Oh, we're going to sell what? We're going to sell $20 billion worth of arms to Israel? Yeah, baby. They got their lobbyists in there. You know what I'm saying? And who do our politicians work for in the federal government? We're talking federal. We're not talking state level. I don't know what happens at state level. But in the federal government, almost everybody is bribed and they are bought by these lobbyists who represent these Wall Street companies. Elon Musk is trying to buy out Donald Trump. You see what I'm saying? The Twitter dude. You know what I mean? So let's be real. The politicians at the federal level, including Donald Trump, who was trying to clean the swamp, they all bought in. And these guys, they will raise tremendous funding. They'll give you $200 million, $100 million to run your political campaign, but they want that money back. They want that money back in a favor. And that's not limited to the United States of America. That happens in my country. That happens, but I'm just saying. So when you look at your politicians and you expect your politicians to care about you because you're the one doing the voting, you're the one paying the taxes, you actually supply the majority of money to run a country. You, not me too, but you, all people who pay taxes. Y'all is the people who run countries. Y'all kick back in a whole set of money back into the country. But the politicians, because they don't really majorly benefit off of your money, they get the perks and stuff from, these private companies, these big conglomerations and oligarchs who will, who run the corporations will donate money to these campaigns. They don't give a damn about you. They don't get their pockets fat off of you. They get their pockets fat off of the corporations. So they serve the corporations. That's what happens. And Donald Trump, being a businessman, he obviously would want to satisfy the business community as well as satisfy himself. That's why he talked about making deals and all this shit. So he's part of it too. It's what it is. Now, the cool thing about him is he not really Washington, D.C. He's not one of those kinds of fake ass politicians like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. He's not fake. So he says some real racist shit that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden wouldn't say because they politicians, they seasoned. They wouldn't say those things. So he says because again, I'm just being real here. United States of America, not to disrespect the people of the United States. I'm not disrespecting y'all. Y'all's the people of the United States of America. I'm talking about the governing, policy-driven structure of the United States of America, what y'all call the deep state. Even you Americans call it a deep state. That is a freaking empire. And a lot of artists and a lot of movie makers and stuff have commented on that in great detail. What y'all love Star Wars. Y'all like the rebellion. Well, guess what? George Lucas was talking about the American empire. What do you think the evil empire was? George Lucas was talking about America. And guess who the rebels and the resistance was? He said he drew it from Vietnam. He said it's the Viet Cong. He thought the Viet Cong was the good guys in that shit. That's George Lucas, who's a Jew, by the way. I'm just saying, so y'all know, some people knew about this a long time ago. American policy, you guys need to look into American policy. What's it all? It's crazy, man. The shit's crazy. And we're beginning to realize what the truth of things are in this age, this day and age. Nothing could be hidden anymore. The white supremacy of the audacity of these motherfuckers to come into the Native Americans' land, call them motherfucking savages, take their land, and make a white supremacist state in which they hired slaves to work for them. We don't even want to talk about this. It's a discussion for another day. We live in what is called the Western Empire, ladies and gentlemen, where Europe has conspired with the United States of America. And it's Thanksgiving. That's why they call it Thanksgiving. Oh, we thank the Almighty God that we are running this thing supreme. And no motherfucker can fuck with us. They call it Thanksgiving. That's right. So, I mean, it's fucked up, bro. It's real fucked up. But see, the Western Empire is starting to fall apart because people are beginning to know the truth of situations, even the people part of the system. I remember in 1999, out came a movie called The Matrix. And that motherfucking shit really rocked me and rocked a lot of people in 1999. And since that time, I've never seen the world the same way, right? So, yeah, Bob Marley said this, and he was telling the truth. There's a lot of mental slavery going on, and we don't really understand because it's way above our heads. And there's so much to say about that, but we want to keep it on the D. Thank God for the internet, and thank God for now we beginning to learn, and this is something from again, RJ Jenkins is going to be more familiar with this than me, but the 60s and 70s was an awakening time where a lot of people was talking about fight the power and stuff. And it was much more obvious the white supremacism that was going on in the world. Everybody wanted to be like the United States. Everybody wanted to be like Europe, but it's not happening. So now the African nations, they're breaking free and they decide, no, we just want to be ourselves. We want to be who we are. The Russians are realizing that, and they're like, fuck. Who said it? Who said we got to buy into democracy? Everybody's starting to wake up and realize, hey, your situation ain't mine. I don't need to be like you. I need to be like me. So countries are finding their own identities. Some countries want to, like what's happening in Venezuela. Venezuelans are like, fuck the United States and fuck them companies. We could refine our own oil and we could do our own sales of oil. That's what this all come down to. And America said, fuck you. I'm going to sanction your ass. So they've been sanctioning them. And they've been, they're trying to get regime change because that's what CIA like to do. They like to get regime change. Right now, they're trying to get regime change in Lebanon. They're trying to get anybody they don't like. They're going to either try and assassinate your ass or they're going to try and get regime change. They're going to try and stir up stuff in your country, destabilize your country, get the people to turn against you so they can get their regime change. So that's the game by the empire. It's been that way for decades. Ladies and gentlemen, we now catching up to speed with it. We way behind the curve. You, the poor people of the world, because I call y'all poor people. I don't care if you poor or not. You being manipulated all the time. We always being manipulated. They have us paying these motherfuckers to fuck up situations. We paying them. When you pay taxes, you paying the federal government. You paying the state government. You paying them to fuck you up. Excuse me for a second there. That's how messed up it is, ladies and gentlemen. You're paying them. Your tax-paying dollars is going to bomb people in a genocide. Meanwhile, some of you are flood victims of Hurricane Helene, and y'all can't even get the money to sustain you. They fucking you over. They're royally fucking you over. Trust me, I'm getting fucked too. I'm getting fucked in my own country by my own government. It's a system that they made. A system to not make you succeed. You have to go past so much shit just to succeed. Meanwhile, friends and family and people in certain circles, they get through easy. Once they stick with the program, they get through easy. It's really unfair. But it is the game, and you need to know what the game is before you could play it. Taxes extortion. I wouldn't call it extortion. Think about it this way. I understand what you mean, though. 100%. Land should be free, right? That's 100% correct. But here's the thing. They had to tax your ass. If you wasn't preoccupied paying taxes back to them, you'd be wondering, well, how come the Native Americans, they have to live on reservations right now? Y'all would be fighting side by side with the Native Americans, trying to kick these motherfuckers out of the country. If y'all would only think, but y'all busy working hard to pay taxes and pay bills. They got you preoccupied. They got you on the plantation. You working for them. Your ass is says. Oh man, they got y'all singing narratives. Y'all don't even know what the fuck you all singing about. They're playing your ass. Oh, they playing you so bad. That's why they probably laughing at y'all. Look at these stupid ass motherfuckers. They singing a tune. I remember Dave Chappelle saying it. You know, the poor whites were out there going to vote for Donald Trump, saying he gonna vote for, he gonna help, he gonna work for us. And Dave Chappelle in the background in Ohio was like, you stupid motherfucker. He's working for me. He don't care about poor whites. It's true. Trump never a day was poor. But what he can do is he can identify what your problems are and then he can put rhetoric to he'll put out rhetoric to make you feel like you've been heard. And then he's gonna do a policy that fucks you over. Yep, Trump was able to avoid taxes through loopholes. That's correct. Because the rich and the wealthy and the powerful, they don't follow the rules we follow. Oh, fuck our rules. They above that. They do whatever the fuck they want. That's true. It's true. So I just wanted to say that. Because I got to be honest about some things. And that's the truth of the situation. The federal government so distantly removed from you and I. You have to work together as a community. You have to work with another person. Shout out to RJ Jenkins, coaching people on boxing to try and get them out of other problems in their lives, other things that could really mess up their lives. You know, you actually doing more than some of these politicians out here. You know, Sting said something. I don't know if you guys know who Sting is from Singing the Police. There was a song that he sang, which is I think he sang something about believing in you or something like that, where he said that, you know, the politicians, man, they remind me of game show hosts. You know, a lot of politicians, they gifted with the gift of gab, so they can convince you, and they don't even believe what the fuck they saying. They can convince you about what their plans are for you. And then once they get into power, all that shit, all that talk was just talk. You know? And the reason mainly is because they want to get into power to help themselves. They don't really care about you. They want to get to the promised land. They want to get elevated to the point where they don't got to worry about nothing. They're with the ruling class. They're the Judases. They betray us. So if you want to play that game, you can go ahead and play that game. But me, as part of the masses, worldwide, the governments that are governing countries now, more and more, they are not representing the interests of the people they govern. More and more, we're seeing that separation. Right? And it's sad. It's sickening. You know? And I think what happened on October 7th, that started the spiral of all the things that happened in Palestine and elsewhere, it exposed a lot of hypocrisies that now the average Joe, we're just watching at a situation, they realize, oh shit, these people talk about, you know, fairness and honesty and all these virtues, and now look at these motherfuckers. Look at these motherfuckers right now. It exposed everything. And I think that's good in a way. It's all about knowing the truth. So it sets you free. And now we know it was just a fucking circus. These people were not serious about what they were saying. You know. And we see it now. Plain as day. So, anyways, that's what I got for you guys. I'm really supposed to be talking about boxing. I went into a topic that I was supposed to cover in my next channel. I have a channel that deals with entertainment and stuff like that. And I also was talking a little bit about politics. You know, now remember, I'm not an American citizen. I live in the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago. It's a beautiful place, beautiful people. The politicians are assholes, but the people are cool. And you have to be able to separate the people from the political people who are disgusting. Okay? You have to be able to separate yourself from them. So that's what I try to do. I understand that American people are dope. They're dope as fuck. They always have been, because they normal people. But the people in power, man, God, golly, I hope that something happens so they can get cleared out and just get a fresh set of politicians coming to politics. Some of these motherfuckers been there for almost a century. and they will not let go of power. Sick motherfuckers. So hopefully we can get just a fresh sweep of politicians on politics. And I would suggest to anybody, do not vote for the usual two parties, the RNC and DNC, next election or wherever, next cycle. Try to vote for some fresh party or fresh name. It don't really matter because most people are sheep. They're gonna still vote for them. So vote for somebody else. Trust me on this. You know, if you want to vote. If you don't want to vote and you say fuck the voting process, just forget it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's supposed to be an endorsement of somebody you want to see run the country. You need to take it into your own hands. Forget about all the voting cycles and everything. And you decide how your community, which is really the closest thing to you, really, that's really what matters because most people don't travel that much. The community you're in, make sure that the community you're in, you can bless it and benefit it. That's, I think, the best thing you can do. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. What you need said way too much. You've been talking way too long, and I still have to go to work. I have to eat and all that. So I'll see you guys later. Peace to everybody. Peace and love in my heart for everybody. I am, a follower of Jesus Christ. That's what I follow. And y'all gonna say, man, well, you buying that Kool-Aid, that elephant Kool-Aid? Well, Jesus wasn't that kind of dude, though. If you look at Jesus, how he ran his life, and how these motherfuckers are running their life, it's two different things. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Peace.